let's begin by asking you, Nikhil, what are some of the key customer and market trends that you're observing in the creative industry workspace? I would urge you to go slowly until Dr. Syed joins in.
Definitely. Hey, thanks, Anil. And I just want to check with you, is my video coming in proper? My audio is coming in proper? I'm having a little bit of a glitch issue. So
yeah, you are a little pixelated, but that's all right. I believe that's the strength of your camera, but it's okay. And oh, Dr. Syed, welcome. Welcome. Great to have you. We actually tried to address you in Spanish. We tried to address you in Urdu, in Hindi. Finally, something worked and you came on. Fantastic.
Great.
Yeah. Right. So, chaliye, Nikhil, some of the key trends you're observing from customer and the marketplace.
Sure. Perfect. Hey, thanks a lot. First and foremost, even before I get into the serious stuff of it, Anil, thanks a lot for having me on this panel. I'm very, very pleased to be here. So, like, NVIDIA has been serving the media and entertainment industry for generations now, right? Let me just give you some perspective. Today, NVIDIA has over 1.3 billion gamers that we work with, right? Who use NVIDIA platform. We have over 54 million content creators, spread across TV, film, VFX, even the whole new YouTube generation, as we call them, right? Everybody is on the NVIDIA platform. NVIDIA is today also powering some of the new workloads that we can think of. We've been talking about virtual production, be it animatronics, be it simulation, physics, rendering. All of those new age workloads are all being powered by NVIDIA.
You've forgotten automobiles, boss.
Oh, it is. No, definitely. I am definitely sticking to media and entertainment for this conversation. But yes, NVIDIA is pivotal when it comes to anything related to artificial intelligence. And automobiles is probably is the most glamorous market there, right?
And the fastest one, I believe. It's going to grow even very much.
True. In fact, but coming back to media and entertainment as a vertical, I think it's an extremely exciting time to be in the whole media and entertainment space today, purely from the way how content is created and it is consumed. You have this whole new revolution happening around content that is being built out for mobiles, right? Now, coming back to answering your question around, hey, what are the key trends that we guys are seeing? Now, these are the top 5 trends that I think I am seeing in the market, right? The first is around resolution, the high resolution. Today, studios, and we just heard a previous speaker also talk about, high resolution. Studios today are requiring content to be shot and be presented in high resolution, right? Just to give you a perspective, there are over 200 million 4K televisions out there in the market. And when content is streamed onto them or when content is viewed onto them, this needs to look super good, right? So there's a lot of high resolution work that is happening.
So 200 million where? In India, or you're talking about?
No, globally. Globally. So I would have a global number. You will start seeing a lot of 4K televisions in the country once we start having better bandwidth, when 5G comes in, etc. And of course, I'll talk about it in a bit. But the second trend that I think that I really want to talk about is around globalization and collaboration, right? If I look at media and entertainment industry today itself, right, it is totally dispersed, right? The industry is so globalized that you have a studio that has people working from different geographical areas, collaborating, coming together, working on different applications, and building out the final project. Now, when we say this word collaboration, I think it is very loosely used, but collaboration is not easy at that scale. You have multiple applications, you have version control to talk about. The most important, the security of the IP, right? I mean, you have your IP floating around the world at this point of time. Also, how do you get resources to the right set of users for them to do their work, right? So while we talk about globalization and collaboration, the way to achieve that collaboration is becoming more and more difficult. The next trend that I want to talk about is, like you rightly said, is with the possibilities with 5G. It is very, very exciting. With 5G, you will be able to broadcast and consume a really high quality content. VR and AR headsets will let you immerse yourself into experiences, right? You are possibly going to have televisions in cars, and you will be able to stream content in a moving vehicle. The possibilities are just endless, and we are just waiting for 5G to kind of come and hit us here. The Next trend I want to talk about is around virtual production. I know we've spent a lot of time talking about virtual production. I managed to find some time to attend a couple of sessions yesterday as well, and where people were talking about virtual production. Virtual production in general got really popularized during the making or the coming out of Avatar as a movie. Since then, major shifts to photorealism have been adopted, right? Your directors, your VFX supervisors, your cinematographers today rely on better decision making, which in turn helps to save a lot of time and a lot of cost. And virtual production is becoming more and more integral or critical to the entire production pipeline. Probably the last trend I want to talk about is digital humans. Now, this is a trend. It is a bit futuristic, maybe, to talk about at this point of time, but this trend is definitely going to mature and come into the picture. Creating believable digital humans in computer graphics is very, very challenging. Now, if you haven't, then please go check out this TED talk by the digital domain folks called DigiDoug, and you will be blown away by the kind of concept they have, the kind of digital artistry they're trying to create, right? All the artificial intelligence, and of course NVIDIA is very, very pivotal to that, but all the artificial intelligence is helping automate a lot of redundant labor intensive tasks that you just have to keep doing without using a lot of creativity or a lot of thought process, right? AI is helping you make those tasks redundant, automate them, right? This gives you the time to enhance or achieve a new level of digital artistry. Now, this, I believe, are the top 5 trends that are there in the industry today. The only commonality that I see between these trends that I foresee as trends are the need for graphics and the need for very, very high compute in order to achieve them. And yeah, that's my answer, Anil.
Fabulous. So you're basically, what we are seeing according to you is that because of the availability of better pixels on screens, 8K, 16K, etc. We are going more towards HD is the past. SD is gotten. We are needing a lot more compute power.
Right.
And because the way that geographically we're dispersed, we are working remotely. There's collaboration happening, and people are using artificial intelligence, and probably they're using more and more of the cloud. And 5G is going to enable that further.
Right.
And because we don't want to travel also so much nowadays because of pandemic, we're using virtual productions, and digital humans is one of the things which is going to end up replacing extras, etc. So that's the broad thing. Very well put. Really well put, Nikhil. Thank you for that. Now let me move on to Dr. Syed. Dr. Syed, could you please shed some light on the cloud-powered digital trends and the business imperatives for the creative industry? Syedji, are you there?
I think he's on mute.
Yeah. Hi, Aril, Nikhil, Vineet, Sanjay. Good evening, everyone. Yes, indeed, very interesting point, Nikhil. You told about distributed, studios, right? And if 5G coming, I see more of edge and more of GPU servers in edge than normal servers going forward. So coming to your question, indeed, the performance has always been integral to workflows of a creative industry, right? So we all agree to it. It's all about performance. Professionals in this space currently, obviously, even now also, I see managing complex graphics, intensive projects on traditional workstation, right, rather than the GPU-based workstations. However, remote workstation, I suppose. Well, however, this approach is less feasible in today's hybrid workplace environment. Of course, especially after pandemic. And what we call it as a distributed workforce. And every offices are now and studios are now distributed workforce rather than everybody sitting at one place and working. The requirement of media and design professionals have very much evolved in recent times with new technologies coming, new projects, VFX and everything. They require more agility than what traditional setups, I can say, can offer. In hybrid environment, what is it? Your employees are required to create and deliver project with the same efficiency. Of course, we expect same efficiency, right? And timelines while being remotely located, and often with less access to dedicated systems. So the output levels are not changed, but the way we work has been changed. It must be noted, indeed, that the physical workstations are expensive. Of course, we all know it. They take longer time to procure and require significant upfront capex, right? So the users and the customers, I would say, they also have to factor various cost factors incurring during the entire life cycle management of physical systems. We all know it. This includes the maintenance of the hardware, upgrade cost, there are lots of EMCs and lots of blah blah blah. This is now getting addressed with the desktop virtualization and cloud powered GPU workstation. No, that offers the same performance. Indeed, I would say better performance, minus the hassles and the incremental cost. In addition to performance and reduced cost, we see use of cloud workstations resulting in the reduced turnaround times, faster delivery of projects, and enhanced user experience and creators. That it brings that flexibility which is actually needed for any what you call studios to deliver the projects.
Okay.
Yep.
And what kind of an impact it's having on business models?
See, business models for the studios are fixed, right? They won't going to change. Of course, the incurring of capex will reduce for them, and they can deliver the project more faster. So that will, of course, impact in their positive in their revenues. So that's this is the good trend. Indeed, I managed Reliance Game Studio before joining Yotta, and I have 1,700 people working across globe. So I need to have that distributed model adopted 2 years back, and I see this trend, how much it will be helpful to have this GPU based workstations, people working remotely. So it obviously that break that demographic kind of structure and one place kind of a structure which studios used to adopt.
So again, yeah, that means, like you said, lower capex, space needn't be acquired, rentals go down, etc., etc. If it's distributed and it's virtual, plus
Absolutely.
repairs, maintenance is not the problem of the studio or the IT department of the studio.
Absolutely.
So great inputs from you. Now let me move on to Vineet, who has been lurking quietly. He has to speak now. Vineet, my question to you is, how has Velankani's journey been from traditional workstations to virtual GPU-powered workstations? How has your journey been?
Yeah, hi Anil. Hi everyone. Velankani is from a different industry, not from media. However, the requirements for our industry is similar to what rendering or media industry needs. We are from CAD CAE workloads and some of the renders which we do for our smaller workloads. Our journey has been great so far, moving from our in-house workstations to Yotta cloud workstations. As Dr. Syed said, the pandemic has given opportunity for all industry to rethink how they want to go ahead and optimize their businesses. And we also found our time during pandemic to see how we can utilize the technology trends and move towards efficient way of working and collaborating within the organization. Now, some of the challenges we faced with our traditional workstation environment, and rightly put by Dr. Syed, was high capex, because you keep changing every 2-3 years. You have to change your infrastructure. The time to deliver has increased during pandemic. The chip shortage and other things are delaying the systems availability, and then you lose a lot of time for your projects which are to be done very quickly. The other challenge which we faced was the designers has to collaborate with our production team in the manufacturing shop floor, and they cannot take their workstation to the shop floor, and then they have to take a printout of drawings, and it's very difficult to they are well-known people, they understand, but then a 3D model is always better than a 2D model when you try to define how the product looks like and how the production has to go ahead.
How much percentage has transitioned towards virtual of your traditional?
We have moved all our workloads into all our workstations into cloud presently in our organization. We also being partner for Yotta, we have moved another 2 organizations to virtual workstation environment. So one being a special purpose machine tool manufacturer. They are into wire harnessing and other thing, and they have a very large assembly parameters, and they have around 14 designers in that organization running 3D modeling of very high assembly line with used data sets, and they moved to Yotta, tested their environment, and they were about to procure new workstations, and the cost of capex was very high. And with our guidance, they moved to Yotta's environment. And the data which I have from their team says that they were able to get performance boost up on Yotta platform to the level of 2.5 times. So what they used to do a simulation or a 3D modeling in say 2 hours, they are now doing it in half an hour or 45 minutes. So that's the speed up and efficiency they have achieved. And same is true with our internal organization of when we are doing compressor design, and we are doing our own IP on compressors and other products which we are going to manufacture for our own internal as well as market needs. And we are finding it to be much faster running simulations on ANSYS and other parameters. Another organizations which may have some connections to render, because they also do 3D modeling. They are into interior design and furnishing, like Homelane or some of those organizations. These guys run SolidWorks, Rhino for rendering, and some of those applications, and they are finding it to be more effective. Their challenge was security. I mean, the people work and the data moves away, their IP goes away. So with Yotta infrastructure, they are able to centralize their designs, and they have put some security features where only certain admins have rights to download data, move the data, or send the data, and all those things. So all those security features and collaboration has been incorporated in Yotta infrastructure. So overall, what we have found in our movement from in-premise infrastructure to cloud infrastructure is having faster performance in enhancement. We were able to get and we were with pandemic, we were able to do hybrid. We still work from office, but then during those initial period of pandemic, we had to move all the workstations to people's home to do that. But now no longer. So they can access work anytime. We can ask them to check things. They need not have to go to in the project meetings. What we have, we just come with our laptops and demonstrate, log into the cloud workstation and demonstrate the files to the team, so that it get approvals very quickly. So all those things are an advantage which we have worked from anywhere. We are able to do better performance. Agility is another thing. So we were quickly able to, just a classic case where we didn't want a couple of workstations, we removed it from our cloud infrastructure, and suddenly we needed for another project a few workstations, and we could quickly provision it within few hours or days, and then we are up and running. So that agility is very important in some of the projects which we get.
Okay, so what are some of the constraints of working with traditional workstations, and how do you decide what kind of a virtual GPU workstation you need to take?
Okay, it all depends on our files, right? I mean, what kind of workloads we have. In present traditional workstations, we had certain configurations. So some of our users need very high graphics memory, and some of them are okay with a lower graphics memory but high system memory. Based on the applications they run, based on the workloads they run, we have decided. We have tested, and we had a month evaluation to go ahead with Yotta. So we did permutation and combinations, and we were able to come out with the right configurations which we need. We have an internal team which has some knowledge of these applications, and we know how they behave. So accordingly, we were able to actually come to the required configuration of what we need. With minor tweaking in the evaluation, we were able to finalize it.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. Now I'm moving on to.
Yeah, Nikhil?
No, I just wanted to point out, Anil, I just wanted to point this out, that we at NVIDIA have a way, I mean, please get in touch with us, anyone that's interested. We have a way for us to size what your current resource utilization on your physical workstations is, and then size it to what configuration you should be moving to when you move to the virtual environment. So we have that calculation, we have a methodology to the madness. So yeah, it's not trial and error always, you know.
So we did what Nikhil said. We did those tools utilization, and then so we freezed on certain things, and then minor tweaking was required for us to finalize the.
Sure. No, that's so fair.
And Nikhil, now that gives me a segue to you. With a hybrid work environment, distributed workforce, and evolving needs, what are the major challenges being faced by your customers?
Okay, so even before I start answering your question, right? I mean, this is my take on it. You know, the pandemic has put all these terms, you know, like hybrid work, flexible work, remote work, work from home. You know, they've all become how do I say? They've all become mainstream now, or they've been in the limelight. But if you take a step back, you know, in the pre-COVID era, you know, all your organizations, all your enterprises were always talking about things like mobility. You know, they wanted users to work from anywhere. You know, they were talking about bring your own device to work, you know, to be able to work on any device. They were very concerned about security, manageability, cloud computing. Now, I believe because the organizations were already thinking on these lines, you know, when the pandemic hit, you know, you could make a decision and you could wade through the entire thing. But the pandemic definitely made it mandatory. Like you have to have a flexible work culture now, right? And when it comes to the challenges, you know, some of the challenges that we face when we are supporting hybrid work or flexible work, as we call it, first is around mobility. You know, how do you get your users to work from anywhere and on any device, right? How do you make sure that, you know, these guys are always connected, and just because where they are is not a hindrance to the work that they do, right? So mobility is a bigger challenge. The second challenge is around performance. The minute, like Vinit said, you know, you always had to go to the office to have access to the beefy workstation in the office, and you were always doing your work, going to the office, having access to the workstations. Now when you do not have the privilege of going to the office or having access to the same workstation, right? How do you maintain the same level of performance? How do the users have the same access to the same level of resources to do their work? Now that is the second challenge that organizations are facing. It is not common. It's not uncommon at all to hear stories like what Vinit said. Hey, we had to ship the workstations to the user's home. A lot of organizations did that, right? In fact, I have a couple of organizations that spent more money shipping the workstations to the user's home than actually buying fresh laptops. You know, so it was a very scary situation. The third challenge is around security. Now think about this, right? When the users are working in the office, you have all the secure measures, you know, you are able to monitor, etc. But now when they're working at home, think about it. Like if I'm a user and I'm working at home and I have, let's say, a laptop that I'm working at home on, and I'm working on a certain model, right? The model resides in the organization data center. Every time I have to work on the model or the latest version of the model, the entire model has to travel through the network right, and comes and downloads on my system. So how do you manage security? Because IP is really, really important for all the enterprises. The fourth challenge I see is around manageability, right? Now, if you had an organization pre-COVID era, if you had 100 people office, suddenly when you were working from home, you had 100 offices to attend to, right? Because everybody is working from home. Suddenly your 2 people IT team has to now support 100 distinct locations. Now, God forbid, even if, let's say, a small thing like a hard drive fails, right? There is a major downtime. All of this, you know, makes hybrid work really, really a difficult option for you to work in. And this, I believe, is exactly where the cloud story fits in. You know, it is mobile. You don't have a drop in performance. your data is secure, you're able to manage, anything goes down, you can immediately have zero downtime, move it around, etc. And yeah, so those are some of the challenges that I feel.
And in the sector that they're doing, we are operating in, that's VFX and media.
Right.
We have to. There's a lot of immersive content coming up,
Yes.
and it has to be delivered within deadlines. It has to be done with quality, and costs have to be maintained. Finally, also, a lot of companies are moving towards artificial intelligence
Right.
in their workflows.
Right.
So all that also comes into consideration, right?
Every time somebody is, see, I'll tell you the most difficult part. See, every time somebody says, hey, I'm working on an artificial intelligence use case, okay, anything, it could be across industries. The minute they say it's an artificial intelligence use case, what it predominantly means is, hey, I am doing a lot of compute. I need a lot of compute resources, right? Now, these compute resources typically are there in the data center. They are there in the data centers of the enterprises, or they're there in like really beefy machines, right? GPUs, non-GPUs, that's secondary. Of course, it's all GPU driven, but that's secondary. When you're working from home, your thin client or your laptops do not have the same amount of resources. Now, how do I get these resources to the people, right? Be it in the virtual environment, be it anywhere, because having those resources is what is detrimental to your work. And that is a very, very key challenge that, cloud computing kind of solves.
Fabulous. Well said. Now let's move on to Dr. Syed. Creators today need access to project data anytime, anywhere. How do virtual workstation, GPU-based workstations enable them with the agility to collaborate along with power and performance while maintaining cost, security, and resiliency? So I believe you have something to show us along these lines.
Of course, indeed, Vineet has presented his case very well. Indeed, if you see, their production has gone up and all. These are all very positive impacts. Indeed, Nikhil has aptly touched upon the challenges of today's creators. Right, seamless collaboration across geographies is a major challenge. One of them. It's not just about being able to work on projects from anywhere, but also about being able to share large project files with the distributed team, and being able to easily collaborate in order to deliver the final products. Yotta's cloud-powered virtual GPU workstations ensure just that, right? So instead of me talking more about it, let's hear it from the real world user. May I request to have the video on screen, please?
Can we have the audio?
Videos are a growing medium and they are gaining popularity across segments. Even if you keep the movie industry aside, the demand for video editing and motion graphics has seen a big surge from segments like advertising, marketing, product development, and corporate communications. You need to make a big impact? You need videos. I am Praneeth, and I am the creative lead at Vimarsa Consulting based in Mumbai. I design motion graphics and presentations for our clients. I use applications like Adobe After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, Maxon Cinema 4D, and others. It's no secret that this requires very powerful computing hardware, and that doesn't come cheap. I am talking about high-end GPU cards, 1 or 2 multi-core CPUs, large amount of memory, fast processors, and lots of storage. In my experience thus far, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for my tribe, with every software upgrade, these workstations become obsolete or require major upgrades. The average life of these expensive workstations are roughly between 2 to 2.5 years. At times, when you're dealing with heavy files, the computers tend to crash, leading to project delays, and with clients breathing down their necks, this frustration is not pretty. This problem amplified itself in the pandemic. I had to shift my office workstation home. Not only did I face space issues, but the ease of collaboration with my colleagues just took a nosedive. Every time a colleague had to work further on the same file, we had to keep uploading and downloading it to keep going. In this process, created various versions of the same file. A few weeks back, I came across Yotta's Virtual Pro Workstation. These are remote virtual workstations powered by Citrix technology, running on Yotta's enterprise cloud with professional grade NVIDIA vGPUs powering them. And they are available on monthly subscription plans. At the start, I was a bit skeptical. I mean, how could a virtual workstation running out of Yotta's cloud be more efficient than a traditional physical workstation, right? But I'm so glad I tried it out. The first thing that amazed me was the simple process to access this virtual workstation. All I had to do was install a small application on my laptop, access the login page, sign in using Google Authenticator, and there you go. The Virtual Pro Workstation opens up in a new window. It didn't feel like I was using a virtual computer. Rather, it was absolutely seamless and so user-friendly. I have been test driving the Virtual Pro Workstation for the past few weeks, and honestly, I'm blown away with the sheer performance, features, and user experience. Firstly, you can install most of the popular applications in it, just like you would do on any regular Windows computer. The performance is mind-boggling. Having worked on multiple video projects on this, I can confidently say that the experience is much better than my traditional high-end workstation. Even long video files get rendered like this. Collaborating with my colleagues is now a breeze. They simply log in remotely after I am done, review the files, edit it, and save it. No more sending files back and forth. Another cool feature of this workstation is that it comes with unlimited data transfer bundled in. So you can upload from and download into the Virtual Pro Workstation as much as you want. And yes, even if your local laptop's internet connection goes down, the remote workstation is always on and keeps performing any task you have set on it. You can simply re-log in when your connection is up. And I'm finally glad to say goodbye to a lot of things. Buying expensive workstations, maintenance and upgrade hassles, compromising on performance, and missed deadlines. And I'm delighted to welcome extremely powerful workstations on a monthly subscription, seamless collaboration, enterprise-grade data security, access from anywhere using any device, happy clients, and peace of mind.
Okay, that was a fabulous video, Dr. Syed. We've got only 6 minutes left now. So we've got another 3-4 questions to go through. So I'm going to ask you, can you provide some examples of how your customers are benefiting from this solution? Then I'll move on to the other questions which I had. And you
many,
so that even NVIDIA, Nikhil, and can respond, and Vineet.
Then of course, this video itself shows how it is a good fit for the media industry. However, our my colleague Vineet is also here, who is from different industries, right? So the virtual workstations are not only required for M&D. It is required for the BFSI segment. It is for manufacturing, medical sciences. So of course we have lots of media cases. One is Belink in itself.
Okay, so let me ask Vineet. Dr. Syed, I can't hear you. Your voice is breaking. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, your voice is breaking, Dr. Syed. I can't hear you at all. Can you all hear him? Nikhil and Vineet?
Yeah.
It was breaking, now we can hear him.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly, because we've got another 3 minutes and Vineet and Nikhil also have to speak. No, he's frozen. He's frozen.
Yeah.
So let me do one thing. Let me ask Vineet, some of the areas and applications where you're using virtual GPU workstations. You talked about for your for engineering applications and and others. So, and what are the transitions? How have the transitions benefited? And finally, what are the outcomes you've achieved? Quickly, because we are, I need also Nikhil.
Yeah, so I have explained this in my earlier discussions too, that how we have benefited by this transition. The applications which we are running are high-end 3D workloads, right? SolidWorks, Pro Engineer from PTC or Unigraphics, which are typically a design applications, the PLM softwares, or simulations with ANSYS or MSc Nestrons. the customer, one of the customers who is into, as I said, HomeLane kind of customer, I mean, the one who is a competitor to HomeLane, they are running it for, they are running 3D modeling on SolidWorks, but they are also running render with Rhino and Keyshot, where they do walkthroughs and all those things. And they need very large graphic environment. As AI being touched here, we also do a lot of AI workloads on some of the things which we are trying to do, with respect to our hotel industries or restaurants, where we are designing automated kitchen robotics from getting preparing the food and other things, and we are developing AI platforms, and we are running right now we are running in premise with test environment on NVIDIA GPUs and other parameters. But going forward, once we are fully settled, we may move that also on the cloud.
Great. So Nikhil, now how is NVIDIA equipping creative professionals with the power and performance they need?
Okay, so I'm going to very quickly talk about 3 NVIDIA distinct technologies that are helping people do this. First is the NVIDIA's hardware platform, which we call as RTX, right? RTX enables, RTX very simply put, it means ray tracing, right? RTX is ray tracing. It enables real-time ray tracing, which means it follows the principle of light. So any image, any frame, any scene that you're working on, right? If you do any changes to it, what are the effect that it has, with regards to the ray of light, right? The shadows, the reflection, the refractions, all of that is now achieved real time. This technology is very, very groundbreaking. It's taken us about 10 years and about 11,000 engineers, man hours for 10 years to create this and bring this out in production. We are today available across platforms. This is our 2nd generation with RTX as a platform. The other thing that RTX as a platform also adds in is the capability to do artificial intelligence, right? The same hardware that is helping you save money on rendering and create those amazing visuals can also be used to do AI, right? It has, so when you say AI, right, a lot of your applications that you work with today, they all have AI capabilities, or they have features that basically have AI capabilities. This platform just makes it 10x much faster, much better to use. The second technology I want to talk about is the NVIDIA virtual GPU technology. And we've been talking quite a lot about virtual workstations, and this is the technology that powers it. So what this technology basically lets you do is users of any workload are enabled to work from anywhere on any device without a drop in productivity, and ensuring that the data is secure at the enterprise level, right? This technology is the goodness of the Yotta workstation as a service. I mean, the Yotta workstation offering is on this technology, right? The third technology, and this is the newest one that I want to talk about, is Omniverse. Okay, Omniverse is NVIDIA's 3D collaboration and simulation platform. Okay, what it lets you do, when I say collaboration again, there are 2 levels of collaboration that Omniverse as a platform lets you do. First is at the individual level. So at the individual level, a certain user works with multiple applications on one machine, and every time you want to move a model or an asset from one application to the other application, there's a lot of conversion that needs to be done, right? When you are working on Omniverse, you can move through multiple applications seamlessly. That is on the individual level. And then you have something that we call as Omniverse as an enterprise product. Now, what this lets you do is multiple people in multiple geographies can be working on the same design with multiple applications at the same time. So, somebody could be working with, let's say, 3ds Max, somebody is working with Katia, somebody is working with something else, and they are working real time. Every time one person makes the change, the other person can experience and see the effect of that change in real time. I know we are short on time, but right now we guys are happy to help out customers that want to try and test this out. Please reach out to us or our partners such as Yotta, etc., and we'll be able to help you with that. So
okay,
I just wanted to add one more thing, Anil. We found this very good that with Yotta, when we started, we were on a certain infrastructure at Yotta data center. But, as we progressed and they optimize or they change to the latest infrastructure. So other thing which we find with Yotta cloud infrastructure is we will at least be on the latest platform or latest -1 or whatever as we move on. So we don't need to worry about our infrastructures being, latest technology or not on the workstations.
Right.
Because that was one thing which, when we went ahead with Yotta, we did not ask, but then it happened. So that's one good part, because we don't need to then worry about changing, in the in-premise infrastructure. We have to keep changing every couple of years, but Yotta take care of that. And
that's the major advantage of that, that flexible consumption model, right?
Correct.
So,
And now also you're bringing together,
IT resources to manage anymore.
Yeah, Dr. Syed, you're bringing together, best of both worlds, performance and robustness.
Absolutely.
And what else? How are NVIDIA and Yotta, NVIDIA leveraging each other's expertise to address customers' evolving needs?
So of course, with our partnership with NVIDIA, Yotta is bringing together the best of both worlds, as you said. NVIDIA's proven leadership in cutting-edge graphic intensive computing solutions, and Yotta's unmatched, robust, fault-tolerant, and redundant infrastructure to support, because we ourselves are robust tier 4 infrastructure as a core, which itself give 100% uptimes, right? Another major differentiator in our partnership, as I just said, the flexible consumption model that suits diverse customer needs, from dedicated virtual workstations from individual users to pooled workstations,
Right.
and that are shared almost on groups. Additionally, the Yotta offers a range of configurations that are designed to meet your requirement as far as the workloads are concerned. Combining the expertise of NVIDIA and Yotta, I suppose we are able to offer a holistic solution that addresses the need across the spectrum of creative industry, be it media and entertainment, architecture, engineering, construction, manufacturing, or graphic and design kind of wide support of application from each domain.
I'm so glad you asked that question to Dr. Syed, because he's articulated it so well. So yeah.
So great. I mean, so you also give 24/7 support, I believe, across, or
Absolutely.
Is that restricted?
Absolutely, 24/7.
Okay. And what the scalability is another thing which Yotta offers, right?
Absolutely. I know it's a data center, and we are a service provider, so of course we need to take care of that.
And turnaround times are how long? How long are turnaround times?
Media industry itself is a dynamic industry, right? We all know about it. The kind of ups and downs needed. So we are always prepared for that. And turnaround time, it's all depend on SLAs, of course. But yes, we are always ready. When we say a 24/7 service, that means we are always ready.
Right. I'll bring out this one point, if you allow me, Anil.
Please go ahead.
It is around workstations, right? So when somebody wants to buy a workstation today, right, you typically buy hardware. Both Vineet is very kind. The case study person was also very kind when he said only for 2.5 years. But typically when you buy hardware, okay, people would buy it with, let's say, a 5-year kind of a vision, right? But while you buy this hardware for 4 years later, and you're making that investment today, your software applications keep adding features every year, right? So every year that they add in more features, it means they need more compute, they need more resources, and everybody knows this. So typically you are making an investment for the future today. Why would you want to do that? Why it would make a lot more sense to use resources that you need today for the project that you need today. And that is the flexibility that I believe Dr. Syed is also talking about.
Yeah, but I've seen applications in CS wherein your phone becomes your computer, which becomes a thin client, and that connects to the virtual workstation.
That is true, but for the media and entertainment kind of industry, I think it's a little far-fetched at this point of time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, because of the resolution that you're working with, right? How do you get 4K resolutions on a phone?
No, you need a monitor. You have a software which syncs your phone, and you have a virtual keyboard which then connects to it. So you don't really you just need a phone. You don't even need a thin client.
Sure.
like a
and anywhere, anytime kind of a
Yeah.
solution. That's the cloudification brings to you, right? Indeed, for
So
the all
do we see
industry.
you all going towards that, offering that solution as well, Yotta, Dr. Syed?
Yeah, of course, that solution is there by default.
No, a virtual keyboard I'm talking about.
Virtual keyboard and all that, yes, this is all software driven, of course. It's not
Yeah.
hardware driven. But yes, of course, we can see daily there are changes happening in the technologies, right?
Right.
So we need to be ready for that, because today, if somebody using some software, that software is irrelevant. That hardware also is irrelevant tomorrow, and that's how
That's correct.
the industries work, right? Media is not an exception. India, I see from last 17 years, I'm working in a media. It's more dynamic business than any stable businesses.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
I see a scenario where you have holographic computing. So you have holographic monitors and you have virtual keyboards.
Everything is possible.
Everything.
Everything is possible with edge coming. Everything is possible. Write it down.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being so kind. And I believe your pricing models are pretty simple. Yesterday, Sandeep told us that it's from 7,000 per workstation going up to as much as 70,000, depending on how much muscle you put on your.
Absolutely.
I don't have too much. I think Nikhil has more muscles. So you can show your muscles.
It's just the camera, just the camera, trust me.
You seem like you work out a lot, Nikhil.
So
Every industry needs a ROI,
Yeah.
of course, and these offerings are designed accordingly.
Fabulous. So thank you very much for spending the time with us and sharing your inputs. Vineet, Syed, it's been and Dr. Syed and Vineet and Nikhil. It's been fabulous chatting with you all. I hope you had a good time and the audience did too. And they learned something about the way forward for functioning in this distributed computing world, in this remote working world, in this world where you reduce your OPEX, your CAPEX, and you work on an OPEX model. And where you don't really have to worry about upgrades because Yotta is taking care of it for you.
Sure.
And NVIDIA is giving you the chips which will help it happen. Thank you very much, all of you. Have a good evening. And until the next time, great fun talking with you all.